Hey, this is Dr. Tishia. How are you doing? Welcome to another episode of Fervently Creation Marketplace Ministry. This is where we believe that everybody is not called to the pulpit, and some of us are called within the marketplace. And so you have to know that there is five gospels. Yep, that's right. It is five: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and you. And sometimes the only one that they pay attention to is the exact last one that I mentioned, which is you. So my question is, when they once they encounter you, how do you make them feel? How do they soul leave after encountering your presence? Can they tell that you look in the image of God? Right? What is God? God is love. So are they experiencing love? Listen, sometimes it's not that you're called to a microphone. Sometimes you're called to the owl 17. Sometimes you are called not to the microphone, but you're called to a barbershop. Sometimes you're not called to the microphone, but you might be called into the healthcare facility. They might be call you as a nurse, may call you as a motivational speaker, or it might call you in media. Listen, it is 7 mountains of influence. And so in there, are you taking the influence? Are you influencing them to be like God? Are you influencing them to be love? And are they seeing love? And so with that, I just want to make sure that people understand, once it comes to ministry is not confined to the 4 walls of the church. What Jesus created was a movement. It was the ecclesia was a movement. It wasn't something that was for people to take and hoard and try to gatekeep information. It was something that was supposed to go out into the world so everybody could understand that the kingdom of God is within them, right? So I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that spill alone. What I will do, though, I will tell you how you can connect with me. This is different ways in which you can connect with me. So as these slides are moving, I want to walk through exactly how you can connect, collaborate, and support, just in the order that you are seeing it. Right. So first, go to Amazon today and purchase the Women of Worth, Men of Valor. The visionary for this anthology is Dr. Jackie Hadnot. I'm honored to be one of the co-authors in this powerful anthology. When you purchase, you're not just buying a book, you're investing in collective voices rising together. So make sure you go out and purchase that book. Then also, I will be in London on July 18th with Dr. Kishma George for the Bring Forth the Dreamer London Prophetic Conference. If you are in the UK, are able to travel, come meet us there. It's going to be transformational. You see all the people here on that will be part of it. Listen, powerhouses. So make sure you meet us there. Also, I want you to consider signing up for the Rightly Dividing, a callback to Sound Doctrine Anthology. This is a call to authors who are serious about truth and sound doctrine. And in Alabama, let me go here. Let's go here. So in Alabama, I will be presenting. Let me go back. In Alabama, I will be, we'll also have in Alabama, my bad, I apologize. In Alabama, we will be doing that book launch there, but it's also part of a tour. So I have collaborated with Together We Create for Kids. This is 6 authors, 1 mission. This is a 6-city tour, which is pouring into children and literacy. So you can support me through donations by using my code TS767. And I'm going to put the website here on the screen for you. You can go to this website right here, Together We Create for Kids.square.site. That right there, if you go in there, it'll give you the information for the packages. You'll see the packages or so, and then that is how you are able to go in and help be a blessing and help support. So every contribution helps us expand the mission. Now let's talk about it real quick. So we got Amber Miller, Rise Together Summit in North Carolina. I'm honored to be one of the speakers there as well. Our guest today, Dr. Rose Hall, will also be one of the speakers. So if you are in North Carolina, make plans to attend. Again, rightly divided in Alabama. I'm the visionary, and we are building something powerful in that region. So stay connected for updates and ways to partner as well. But it is also part of the tour there. And the authors here, I mean, the speakers here are actually the featured authors that is in part of the Rightly Dividing book. Then we have in Wisconsin, we have Dr. Lanice Runnels. Her conference is Find Your Voice, Own Your Story. Also, let me go back. August 8th, we will several of the speakers that are part of this tour, they'll be receiving their honorary doctors. I'm also one of the speakers of that powerful gathering. So you can also go there. Congratulations in advance to all of those that are going to be receiving their honorary doctorates as well. Then also our very first stop is actually with Mo Nelson. I plan to be there. It's going to be the pastor test in Florida. So we just, man, it's going to be amazing. So Florida, we're coming strong. On this one. And then I think we may do a little updates to that flyer, but either way, be there. All the way in California, we got Dr. Dunn. Listen, with Kingdom of Learning, and it is part of a expanding movement as well. So also, if you want your brand to grow and to give back at the same time, or if you simply want to grab a tour t-shirt, listen, make sure you go to that website. The information is on there. Go to the website, and that is how you are able to support in that area. So let's build, let's make an impact together. We're doing kingdom business. And if you can't do nothing else, if you cannot do nothing else, make sure, let me go back here. Make sure that you pray for us. Keep us in your prayer. Pray. Don't pray on us and don't speak against us, but make sure that you're praying that the glory of God is received, are shown in this sixth tour children books thing, because we are giving back. The first day is where we speak. The second day is where we are giving back to the community. So we want to be able to give, and we don't want to be limited or restrained. And so the more people that help, the more that we are able to do. All right. Now, with that being said, I have a guest today, and I'm going to bring her up, and we are going to first discuss, because you know how I get. I'm always going to talk about the word first. Before we talk about anybody, we're going to talk about the word, right? So we're going to talk a little bit here in reference to Proverbs 16 and 9. And I'm going to bring my guest up for today, which is Dr. Rose Hall. Again, she will be in North Carolina. So how you doing, Dr. Rose?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Awesome. Listen, I love saying Dr. Rose. So my mom is one of my speakers. Her name is Rose Marilyn. But everybody call her Rose. But she is one of the honorary doctor recipients. So to say Dr. Rose, it's like I'm being prophetic and saying Dr. Rose. Well, of course, I have to call her Dr. Mommy, and you can keep Dr. Rose.
Oh, all right then.
That'll work. Okay. So I'll leave you at Dr. Rose. I can say Dr. Rose without getting popped in the mouth once I talk to you. You know how the old schools are like, hey, no, like you couldn't call your mama by their first name. So, But anyway, so Dr. Rose, one verse that I want to discuss with you. We ain't doing a whole passage. We're just gonna do this one verse because it is power packed within itself. Proverbs 16:9. It says, "We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps."
Yes.
I'm gonna toss that mic over to you first. So what do you feel? How does this verse speak to you? What stands out to you about this verse?
What stands out to me about this verse is, we can make our plans for the future, set goals in life, but God is the ultimate one who determines the outcome. And what I mean by that is that, we can have the freedom to dream, we can strategize, set these goals and everything, but the ultimate authority and the outcome is by God. It's what God wants us to do. And in my own situation, I actually went to college to be a lawyer. Little did I know that God was going to put desires in my heart for health and wellness. So I found myself actually, exercising, taking weightlifting classes and everything, and just reading all about health. Well, my sophomore year of college, the guidance counselor was like, it's time to declare your major. And so I decided that I didn't want to do anything that I did not enjoy. And so they said, well, what do you like to do? And I told them, some of the things I just said, along with, making sure I'm healthy and others are healthy. So it said, it sounds like you want to be a dietitian. And I said, okay, well, what does a dietitian do? And they said, well, these are some of the things. I said, well, what do I need to do in order to become a dietitian? Well, I took the course. They told me what I needed to do. I took the courses, and that's the path that I went. Well, I was a foods and nutrition major, got a bachelor's in it, but then I went on to take my postgraduate work at Hampton University to become a registered dietitian. Now, I worked in the field of diet as a dietitian, nutritionist in the community aspect of nutrition, starting with the WIC program. And with doing that, I found my love for the community and educating the community. Well, once I got married, had my first child, I noticed as a dietitian, working as a WIC director, that I didn't have much flexibility. The flexibility that I wanted for my family, it was mainly a 9 to 5. And one thing, when I was in college, I was taking classes with nurses. And I had said, well, I heard other people talk about dual majors and everything. So I was just like, well, maybe I'll become a nurse too. And so I took classes in nutrition along with the nurses, but I did not decide to become a nurse until I determined that I needed flexibility. So while I was at home with my child, my husband saw that there was a accelerated nursing program at Winston-Salem State. So I took some classes at the community college to try to get there. And in doing so, I majored in nursing. And then I got accepted to the accelerated program at Winston-Salem State. And since 2006, I've been a registered nurse. So my first career path is a registered dietitian in nutrition, and my second career path is in health and taking care of the community in nursing.
Awesome. So my question to you is, when it comes to how you had your plans. So I'm gonna go back to the verse real quick. It says, we can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps, right? And so a lot of times we feel like we're going down the right path, or some of it is we're going down the right path, but it's like, hey, I need you on your way. I need you to collect a little information from this, and I need you to collect a little information for that. But that process is not only confusing to ourselves, but it's confusing to others, right? I'm not worried about the others. How did you handle that transition of hearing like, okay, hold on, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing either, or this is, so how did you handle your shifts in your transitioning?
More so from a nutritionist to a nurse.
Mm-hmm. Or no, let's go first, because you did lawyer and then went into nutrition and then to nursing. And so your nutrition and your nurse kind of hit, similar health, but lawyer to nutrition is a big
Okay. Well, I'm glad you asked. The reason I initially chose the school and went to the school to be a lawyer, but once I got to the school, which had a law school, I found out you got to sit for the LSAT, that the lawyer part comes after the 4-year degree. Well, I decided to change from that path of being a lawyer to being a nutritionist, because I found out a lot of lawyers have to tell a lot of lies. And I did not feel comfortable if I had to be in a situation where my morals was tested to whether lie or whether to tell the truth. And so I decided to do the nutrition part because, like I said, I've always wanted to do something that my heart would be in and something that I love to do. I never want to go to work hating my job. I would never want to be in a career hating why I chose this field and doing it just because of the money. So that's where the purpose driven part comes.
So it's funny because like I used to do t-shirts. Well, a similar path. For one, I end up in the military as a heavy construction mechanic, and then after I got out of the military, eventually I started doing t-shirts, right? And had a business coach at the time, Mel Bowers out of Plantsville, Alabama, and that I think like the day before, God had told me, He said, I don't want you doing t-shirts. I got books in your belly. And I was like, and then it was, I need you to go back to school. And at that time, I'm like, man, I'm not fit to go back to school. And this would have been going to school for my doctorate degree. And I was like, I'm not going back to school. Right. Well, the next day, the business coach calls me and she says, God told me that this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. What is it God that told you you're supposed to be doing? And this was like the very next day. And I was like, come on, God, because I did not like writing. I didn't want to go to school for my doctorate degree. And I definitely didn't want to write no books or think that I could even write a book. Now I'm multi-international best-selling author. And, with several books up under my belly, as well as co-authoring with other books and still a lot more in my belly. Right. And so it was a transitional process. So that's the reason why I kind of asked, like, cause it'd be like, sometimes God would take you a whole nother way and you're like, wait, hold on, God. Okay. So you go into nutrition, you figure out you need time. Let's talk a little bit about time management, right? Because it says, but the Lord determines our steps. And sometimes we think that we are either delayed in timing. We feel like we're running out of time, or we feel like our timing is off. And the whole time, if we calm down, take a breath, we will see that God is managing our steps, determining our steps the whole time, because there's plans and purposes that is meant for each and every last one of us. And being that there's plans and purposes that is meant for us, God is not going to allow us to mess up his plans, thwart his plans. And so he's going to get us to where we need to be.
True.
Right. And so, and now I'm not saying that, we can, but those of us that's following and have that heart. So I'm speaking this to someone else that I feel is like that. So knowing that, hey, I'm never behind, I'm always on time. And this is exactly what God has me to do, is having me to do in this time, in this season, in this dispensation, right? That God determines my steps. It's kind of the song, what is it? Order my steps.
In your word.
In your word.
Yes.
Right? And it's a thing to where we have to stay in the word, because once you stay in the word, you nourish that relationship. And a lot of times we can't hear the steps that God is telling us to make because we got so much other noise on the inside of us. And then we have not built relationship. He says, my sheep know my voice. And so it's just like with us, for it's like kids and stuff. If we hear our kids or whatever crying or anything like that, we can discern their voice out of a whole bunch of noise. Out of a room for kids crying and screaming, we know the cry of our kids. Well, that's because we spent time with our kids. We walk with our kids. We listen to our kids. We know their patterns. We know. And so this is same thing with God. God knows, because
Mhm.
it should be a certain relationship. So that way, if God speaks, because it's the same thing with how I say with the kids, but it's the same thing with the mothers. I mean, with the kids, once we as parents say, hey, come here, or hey, or go over there, the kids know, hey, that's my voice. That's
Yes.
my mother's voice. Because
Yeah.
hey, some kids quick to say, you ain't my mama.
No, true.
You ain't my daddy, right? And so, to understand the steps, how did you get to the point of discerning the voice of God for yourself, knowing that even though it may look strange to anyone else that you was following God, even though this seems like a shifting or whatever, but I am going in directly where God is telling me to go?
Whew, I don't know where to begin. I have many times where God will change my plans. um, mm, well, I can give one example. When I became a dietitian, what I did was after my major, I applied for some schools. I only had applied to one approved practice program, which I had to take in order to sit for the board to become a registered dietitian. That school was UNCG. Did not get accepted. Did not get accepted at all. So I'm just like, well, my goal was to become a registered dietitian. I got a bachelor's in nutrition, but what am I going to do with it? Yes, I can work in WIC and stay a nutritionist, or I can go another route. Well, the route that I thought I was going on, another plan in my way, was the military. So I had prepared my body to go to St. Andrews Air Force Base, to take the dietitian route by military. But in doing so, a lot of people kept telling me, well, Rose, with your grades, you need to go to college. And I'm just like, well, I'm trying. I applied to the schools, the one that I applied for, to get into the next step that I need to take to get there. The door was closed. And so I'm like, this is the only route that I know. Well, I got a phone call from the dean of the college. She said, Rose, my friend, who is actually head of an AP4 program at Hampton University, has a spot. But before she said that, let me backtrack. My guidance counselor actually told me about a co-op. That's what it was. That was the next step. I didn't do I decided to go to college instead of taking the military route. My guidance counselor of my department, she told me about a co-op. The co-op was a paid co-op. It was actually at the University of it was at the VA hospital, actually in Tampa, Florida. So she told me, you need to fill out this application and apply for this co-op. With this co-op, if you're accepted, they're going to pay you and let you work while you learn. And those who were in this program were like top priority choices to be in their actually internship, dietetic internship. And so I applied, just like she said, got accepted. Had only about a few weeks to get ready to go to Tampa, Florida. So I went there with my boyfriend at the time, found a place to stay for myself. And I stayed there, and they actually had us in the University of South Florida, living in a dorm, like a housing for us and everything. The housing was included, plus they paid us, plus at the end, if you completed, you would get the internship. So I did that route. And while I was there doing that route, thinking this is my next step, I'm on my way, I get a call from the dean of my college. Rose, I have a friend who's head of Hampton University's AP4 program. They are accepting students. I think this is a good fit for you. I'll put in a recommendation. I just need you to fill out this application in less than a week because the deadline is here. I filled out the application, just as she said, taking her word. While I filled out the application, I had about 3 weeks left of my internship is when I found this out. It was an 8-week internship, and I was down to the last 3 when I got this call. Well, I filled it out. I got accepted. So I knew got this one in front of me that I can go through this door and stay here and complete this because I'm already this far, or I can do the AP4 program where they would pay me as well, and I get some graduate credits for continuing education and everything, and it was at a private college. So I decided to go through the AP4 program in Virginia, and I actually moved to Hampton, and I completed the AP4 program, and it was in less than, the other one would have been like, I think it was longer than a year, but this one was only 13 months, and I completed it in 13 months. And then I was able to sit for the board. I got the papers I needed to sit for the boards. So when I thought I was taking the step to go to the military, God had already gave another step, opened the door for me to go to the co-op, but then another door opened for me to get what I needed sooner, plus get paid for it, along with everything else in no time. I can't hear you.
You cannot, can you? If my mic is muted. Let's talk about Skinny Jean Cafe. I didn't mean to do that.
Skinny Jean Cafe, that actually is a health and wellness club, nutrition club, that I actually had for about 3 years, brick and mortar. I started it way back in 2011 or so, but then I actually started putting it online with my kids when I had my twins. My twins was born in 2013. Yeah, 2013. No, I think it was 2008. Yeah, 2008 to 2011, 12. That's what it was. And so I did that, and then I went online, and I still actually am in health and wellness. I do it with online orders more so than the brick and mortar. But what it was is selling hot fat burning coffee, fat burning tea, and what it did, it actually tapped into your skinny jean. It was scientific, where it would actually shrink your fat cells.
Okay, awesome. Now, with that, with you being in health, right? So everybody's kind of getting a little big on parasites and stuff like that. What do you have to say with that conversation?
I'm glad you asked. Because once I left from the brick and mortar part, doing the fat burning coffee, fat burning teas, I actually got into another company that was able to, which was one of my suppliers, that was able to give me a detox tea. Okay. And so I started selling detox tea, as well as, mushroom coffee and everything. So it kind of expanded my my product choices. And what it did, it actually tapped into cleaning out your bloodstream, as well as cleaning out your liver, as well as cleaning out your colon. So it was a total body detox using herbal ingredients like blessed thistle, milk thistle, marshmallow leaves, and this detox tea was so natural that you can cut open the tea bag and actually eat the leaves itself as an herb. So once the tea bag dries out, you could put it in your like a shaker and shake it on your foods afterwards and eat it.
Wow. And you still sell that?
I still have it. Yes. I still have access to that.
Okay. So, because, I just like this, I haven't even been drinking in a week, was some mushroom coffee. I actually was looking for the Rise one, but I didn't find that. I ended up finding another one that was like some instant. It was a little instant mushroom coffee, but just I'm like this week years old.
Okay.
So I'm new to that information. I am a newbie in that. So don't know too much information on that, but like, hey,
And there's different
Definitely.
kinds of mushroom coffee. Rise is one of them. The one that I have is an organic mushroom coffee. So,
Okay.
it's actually the pesticides and all that is not included in the grains.
Got you. Got you. Okay. Now, healthy kingdom transformation solution.
Wow. That's another one, God planning your way and ordering your steps. God gave me that vision for healthy kingdom transformation solutions when I was actually invited to be a radio host personality, and I had to declare the name of my show. And it just came to me in prayer, that healthy kingdom lifestyle radio show. And so, and the healthy part is, of course, I'm a health solutions expert. The kingdom part is all about the kingdom. The kingdom of God is inside of each and every one of us. Along with the transformation part in doing, when we give people the word, of course, they renewing their mind, in renewing your mind, not just with the word, but just in your lifestyle in general, in health and wellness, and even through my own transformation in losing 25 to 35 pounds after having 4 kids and twins at 40. It was about healthy kingdom transformation. And then talking to people on the radio show, it's about lifestyle. It's not just a temporary fix, not even with your relationship with God. It's about lifestyle. It's about relationship. So
Yes.
it was just fit perfectly as healthy kingdom transformation lifestyle. And after I completed the radio show aspect, and going online, and God giving me the vision to pray for others as well as give out scriptures for the day, it became healthy kingdom lifestyle transformations. And I said, okay, Lord, I got the healthy kingdom lifestyle transformation ministry part, marketplace ministry part. I also have all these health and wellness products that when I consult people, I give solutions. So then it's like, okay, healthy kingdom transformation solutions.
I
So
love it.
everything all in under one umbrella is what I am about. Transforming lives, producing disciples, and impacting the world by
I love
offering
that.
healthy solutions and transforming lives.
I love that. I love how you also mentioned how the kingdom of God is within us. And so, and then, Paul also, or I want to say it's Paul that tells us, like, our body is a temple. And
Yeah.
so when you actually go into the Old Testament and you see how how the temple is set up, and you start correlating all that stuff, and even down to the 12 tribes of Israel, those 12 tribes of Israel, if you look at how what was unique to their names and the meaning of their names, it correlates to our 12 cranial nerves. And
Mm.
so it's so much stuff that, like, once you look into it, and it's just like God was mapping it out for us the whole entire time. And so once we read the Bible, we have to understand it's layers to it. And so you have to read the body looking in the layers from the mind, body, soul, and spirit.
Mhm.
And so looking at it for the spiritual aspect of it, how does it heal the soul? But it also speaks to our bodies and how we should do our bodies. And so a lot of people like to um okay, I got it. So a lot of people like to talk about other sins and stuff, but they a lot of times they don't want to mention anything about gluttony and all that stuff.
You got
And
that.
on, and then on top of it, we don't even study it because we've been conditioned and institutionalized that we should be eating a certain amount of meals a certain amount of times or whatever. So for example, I was trying to tell, I did a retreat, and I was teaching them, wish I had my notes with me. But I was teaching them, Holy Spirit, please bring it back to my memory. But I was teaching them how, when I want to say it wasn't until like the 1800s or so that this whole thing about us eating 3 meals a day came about. And then that's during the time that when and the reason why was because at first everybody was eating at different schedules, but once the workforce began to expand, then they had to start letting people eat, or setting a structured time for people to eat. So then we had lunch, and then you got the education system expands, and then so we have these meals and stuff, but not understanding that in the Bible days people weren't eating 3 to 5 meals a day, right? When they fasted, or so that, and then on top of it, they wasn't eating meat all year long either. And so these are things that once we begin to study the culture of the faith that we claim or whatever, once you begin to understand the culture, then you can start seeing how with certain things that we have been conditioned to do for so long, and nobody asks questions, and we just do it. So we just automatically teach our kids, eat 3 meals, eat 5 meals. We automatically teach this stuff. But for one, it's not even biblical, since everybody wants to be so biblical. It's not biblical. America has a issue with gluttony. Once I said it, like, I just lost 30 to 40 pounds last year. And so, and that right there just came off miraculously. I wasn't trying to lose weight. I wasn't working out or anything, right? But it's a thing of where your mindset begins to shift. And once your mindset shift, not only about things in the world, but once your mindset shifts in how you see food, right? Because a lot of us have made food our source. Once I say our source, the word Father, once Jesus says Father, the word for that is translated also into source, but it's the closest word that they could find was Father, right? But it was just something more intimate, right? So the source, but we have made it to where we have depended on food to become our source to live. And that's the reason once God begins to shift us, the first thing that he goes after is our appetite. And then it's so much stuff that's held in our gut as well that affects our mood, our emotions. And so, like, however, everybody wants to come in on Sundays and just hear, they hung them high and they stretched them wide. No, tell me how to live a holy life. Tell me how to shift my mindset to where I don't worship food. Show me how to no longer let food become my God. Show me how to not let money become my God. Preach it right now, because God don't want me broke either, and God ain't telling me to give to the point to where I'm broke either as well. So it's a thing to where we have to know we have to learn to start teaching principle and truth. But truth is understanding that the Bible is supposed to heal us mind, body, soul, and spirit. And so in that, we have to look at the body piece. So what you're doing and bringing this information into the kingdom is so needed, because we don't know. We do not know, right? Even once it comes to mind, they preach it, but actually get into how the mind actually works. Let me know about how my amygdala may be overactive. Let me know how things in here, it might just be a little wired, but also help me to understand where I could just be off spiritually, and I'm in between 2 different thresholds, and I'm just having a hard time recalibrating and help. And so it's so much that we're not teaching, but the church, the body of believers, the ecclesia, followers of the way, followers of Jesus.
Yes.
I don't care what denomination that you fall in or what religious sect you fall in, you have to take care of your body. It is our temple. It is supposed to house the Holy Spirit. And a lot of time we only look at it from the ear and the eye gates, but what about your mouth gate? What do you not understand? Food passes through us, and it's a lot of stuff that don't pass through us. But so let me say that real quick. Though I'm talking about food, understand food gonna pass through you quicker than them hateful thoughts, that unforgiveness. that
Yeah,
rage, that anger, that
that's right.
jealousy, that envy, that
That's
stuff
right.
don't stay around for some years. That
Yes.
food might be out within 72 hours. You take a good
True.
laxative, you might can get it out a little bit quicker. So, all right, I'm gonna be
Well,
quiet.
that's
I'm
good.
gonna let you have it.
Well, the thing about it is you're talking right. You're talking right. And that goes to the healthy and the kingdom part of it. Because a lot of people don't even realize your gut holds 20 pounds of waste. So that's where you need to detox and you need to get rid of those parasites and those flukes because and then talking about the transformation part, the renewing of the mind. I mean, one thing I can say in doing renewing your mind aspect and nutrition, when I first started as a dietitian, I actually was about all about them 3 meals and those 2 snacks and making sure you were getting carbs as your foundational, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with carbs, but there's good carbs and there's bad carbs. The complex fiber rich carbs are good for you, but the white carbs, oh, white bread, white rice, none of that is good for you. And a lot of people don't realize that, as you get older, and I had to learn myself that's how the renewing of my mind had to shift. Some of the things that I knew to do to lose weight after having my children was not working like it used to when I'm in my 52. But after 45, my metabolism slowed down. I could not have as many, carbs like I used to because my body just not metabolizing it like it used to. So, I had to learn and renew my mind in another way of eating. And in doing so is when I found about intermittent fasting. And so a lot of people don't know fasting helps you, to boost your metabolism and to, not spiritually, yes, but
Mhm.
also it helps you to regulate your system, you
Yes.
know. And
Mhm.
so I was successful again after having my twins more so by doing intermittent fasting and adding exercise and being consistent. And in doing so is where I lost the 25 to 35 pounds.
Yeah.
And so,
Intermediate fasting is good.
yeah, because in
I
my
used to be on
mindset,
a 18-6 regimen. So
yeah,
like
yeah,
my,
816 is the regiment for me too. But that's what I found out that it's not about skipping breakfast ain't as bad as I thought.
man, new.
So that's
But
where
you
I
know
had to
what? The
transform my mind in that area.
parent intermediate fasting with keto is what I did.
Okay.
And I think within that, I think I dropped 20 pounds once I did that like a few years ago. While matter of fact, I was staying in Virginia. Did that a few years back. And I was just like, oh, okay, what it wasn't as bad or whatever. And so it's a thing to where the intermediate fasting, right? Fasting, just period fasting,
Period.
as well as rest and meditation and stuff, you have to give. It's just like the land, right? The land, they said, like every 7 years they had to give the land rest. Every seventh day was a Sabbath. Just like that, our cells need to rest. Our body needs to rest from intaking certain foods and stuff, and so that way our cells can regenerate, so they can replenish yourself or whatever. And so, and then understanding too when your body will take you into an involuntary fast,
Mm-hmm.
right? I've got into involuntary fast, but because I did intermediate fasting so much
Mm-hmm.
and had lived that lifestyle of intermediate fasting for a while, for me, when I fast, I have to fast for more than just food.
Mm.
I have to fast from people.
Mm. Okay.
And
Wow.
once I say people, that mean of allowing so many voices in my ear,
Mm-hmm.
or
Are
so whether that, yeah, it's like whether I'm watching TV or whether it's someone talking on the phone or whatever. It's just like I have to fast for more than just food,
yes.
understanding that my body needs to replenish more than just that.
Mm-hmm.
But fasting, and if it's someone that is, if you're struggling being able to fast for 24 hours 48 hours, 72 hours a week, or whatever your 40 days, or however. Start with intermediate fasting. Let
Yes.
that be something that helps build you to
Mm-hmm.
get to the point, but still understand that once you're fasting, you should be implementing
Yeah.
spiritual food.
That's right. That's right.
So if not, you're not doing nothing but a diet essentially.
Yeah.
But you can incorporate intermediate fasting with a spiritual fast by
Mm-hmm.
making sure during the times that you're not eating, that you're mindful of still what's going inside your body, making sure you're reading the word, making sure
Mm-hmm.
you got a place of worship going on, make sure that you're in a posture of prayer, or make sure that you're silencing things. So don't just take away the food,
That's
take
right.
away other stuff.
Yes.
Because at that time, once I said, God, I need you to replenish me. I need you to renew my strength. I need you to
Mm-hmm.
renew I need you to renew this body. I need
Mm-hmm.
all of it. And so at that time, I don't need to be putting in stuff. It's just like you simply trying to mop the floor. Come on. I know my women gonna help me out here. You mopping the floor, and then somebody just come in and walk over, and you be like, I know you see me mopping.
I
I know
know, right?
you see the floor wet. Like, and that's what God be like with us. Like, I know you see me trying to heal your body. You see me
Mm.
trying to give you rest. You see me trying, and you
Yes.
still putting more stuff on it.
Mm.
You
No.
know what? I'm just gonna stop. I'll wait till you finish. Once you finish walking, let me know.
That's right. That's right.
And that's what. And it's not that God stopped speaking. It's just God like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because this is counterproductive.
That's true. That's true. Well, that's just tells it all. The healthy part, you got to have a healthy mindset. You got to have health goals. You got to take care of your body. The kingdom
Mhm.
part, you got to put input.
Yep.
Input those things that, prayer, like you said, worship, input the word. And then, in doing so, personal development, transforming your mind, applying those things to do. It's part of the transformation process. And then, offer your body solutions, all kinds of solutions. Health, natural herbal solutions. Some people use essential oil solutions. Some people use, pill solutions. And like I said, I have the detox tea. That's a solution. And now I also have the super patch.
Oh, let's talk. So tell us about this super patch.
The super patch is a tiny patch that has used results that change lives. What it is actual a patch that has no 100% drug free, has no ingredients. But you see that pattern right there in the middle that looks like a fingerprint? We call that braille for the brains. And what it does, it actually, when it touches your skin, it peels off like a sticker. And when it touches your skin, it actually sends messages through your nervous system and tells your brain to fix whatever the purpose of every patch. So the body naturally heals itself with what God already gave us on the inside. And it bypasses the brain. I mean, not the brain, but it bypasses the blood system, and it bypasses the digestive system and uses the nervous system. It's actually the future of wellness.
You know what? So I just did a prayer today. I've been doing a prayer the last couple of days, talking about God reset my nervous system. And see, this is why we go back to this verse. We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. And so, hold on. Let me help y'all out real quick, right? Because and I promise y'all, like she sent me this information, I think earlier today, and I didn't pay attention like to the in-depth of it because I figured she would tell me on the show, but I didn't go look it up and didn't ask any questions because we supposed to been talking about it on the show. But the thing was, we were supposed to do this show a little while ago. And
Mm-hmm.
back then, I would not have the mindset. Now, like I said, we can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. And so we made plans to have. Come on, Dr. Rose, help me out.
Yes.
Hear me out. We made plans to have to record a show, But at the time that we had made the plans, my mindset had not yet shifted.
Mm, mm.
And so, if my mindset would not have shifted when she came through and brought in knowledge, I would have missed the knowledge. Why would I have missed the knowledge? Because my mind was not ready to receive. And I would have like, oh, that's cool, and went thought, but now I want it. And so, um, so tell everyone how they can purchase this.
These patches, you can purchase them. We have 15 different kinds. One of them is called Liberty, which was our first patch. Then we got that helps you get moving like never before. We have Victory, which is our athletic performance patch that helps you give you instant strength like never before. We have Freedom. Freedom is our pain patch that helps you deal with pain like never before. And we also have Defend, which is our patch for your immune system. It protects your well-being like never before. But this right here is my favorite patch. It's called the Peace Patch. Yes, we call this the peace that surpasses all understanding. It helps you deal with stress like never before. And in these patches, you can get them at my website. It's called Well Soul, HTTPS wellsoul.superpatch.com. Or if you go to superpatch.com, use the referral ID 111237417. And as you check out, you can get a significant discount.
Awesome. Oh, hold on, there we go. That is awesome. Well, look, I definitely plan on trying a few of those patches because I believe that this right here was a divine interview. Because I was just praying over some of the things and stuff that your patch do, and I am one that I do not like. How to say that? I don't like big pharma medicine, and so. So the fact that it's natural and stuff, and then it's also a patch. But I do remember it was a time, and what I would say to patches, right? For anybody that is kind of like, oh no, like a patch is not going to work. Let me tell you, I never used any of those patches. However, it was a time to where I had chronic pain, and so my pain was so bad to where I had to have the pain patches that you had to wear for 7 days. You had to switch it out, and each time you switch it out, you have to put it in a new spot. You know what I'm talking about, Dr. Rose?
Lidocaine, Lidoderm.
No, not the lidocaine. These were narcotic.
Okay,
patches.
yeah, it's another one that is like that. Yeah.
So these were heavy. Like these were ones that if you took a drug test, you would still feel it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right. It was like one of those or whatever. So I want to say it was like narcotic pain patches or whatever. It was something, but I had
chronic pain. It's for chronic pain.
Yes, it was for chronic pain. That's how bad my pain. During this time, I was in and out of a wheelchair too, and so. But the patches actually work. Like they have a way, and I don't know the science behind it, but how she was saying that it will bypass it and like, listen, that is true science. That's something that has been around, that it will work.
Yeah.
So I believe in the science behind it or whatever. And so I am definitely willing to try the products. And I am one that, hey, if it works, I'm gonna make sure I tell everybody, hey.
Yes, one thing about our super patch, it is based off of VT technology, and the person who created it, Jay Dollywall, his mom had MS, and he didn't want her to have any more drugs or have any more surgeries. So he put his computer science engineering knowledge together with the technology science called vibrotactile technology. So
my mom has MS.
Oh wow. Well, this patch, our Liberty patch, was the first patch to actually help his mom. And since then, God has graced him with more knowledge, and he actually invested $25 million and 15 years of research before he brought it to the world. We've been in the United States since 2023. This is our third year. And we're trying to patch 1 million people to let them know there's a drug-free option out here that they can do.
Well,
It
look,
works in minutes.
so Liberty is the one that I need to get for my mom, right?
Definitely. It'll help her
Okay.
move like never before.
Okay.
And what you said about your pain, what we usually recommend is the Freedom Patch for
Oh,
a
I don't have pain no more. Hold on.
well, where anybody who had
I
pain.
have to heal, but y'all listen to her because she got information for y'all. She got
Yeah.
information for y'all.
Well, I thank
No, no,
God
no.
you're no longer in pain. Hallelujah. And anybody who's in acute pain, we usually recommend the Freedom Patch.
Okay.
But we like to put patches in a combination. So
Okay.
we call this our pain cocktail, which is our Freedom Patch along with our Liberty Patch, along with our Peace Patch. Because the
Okay.
Peace Patch calms your nerves, the
Okay.
pain nerves. The
Okay.
Liberty Patch gets you moving, and the Freedom Patch tap into your pain receptors to get them to tell your body to decrease pain.
Look, see, this is products that I can stand behind. Like I would be an affiliate for them. Like, how do I become an affiliate?
Ambassador, yes, come on, we need them. We're trying to patch 1 million people. We need as many ambassadors as we can.
Definitely would. I definitely would. So, all right. Well, Dr. Rose, I will get a chance to meet you in person.
Yes.
Where is it? June. What is our dates have changed. So let
We're
me
looking more at June 19th and June 20th. On the
yes, June
19th,
19th.
on the 19th is where I will be speaking with the rest of the group on that day. And then on the 20th is where we'll be doing Juneteenth, doing the give back at the Juneteenth festival here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Yes, that's gonna be awesome. We're gonna go out to eat or something because I think I'm supposed to be celebrating something that time. I don't know.
Yes, we got a
But anyway,
fellowship. We must fellowship.
yeah, we must fellowship. So I am looking forward to meeting you in person, and I would definitely be making me a purchase this week.
Thank
So
you so much.
thank you. Do you have any closing words before we get out of here, Dr. Rose?
Well, one of the things I've said, we talked about everything about planning our way, the Lord ordering our steps, but we are to continue to encourage each other, plan our way, make decisions in all our lives. But we need to remember our plans are subject to change based on God's wisdom for our futures.
Amen. Amen. Well, I thank you. Can't wait to meet you in a few months. And you are welcome here anytime. And definitely we'll be looking into this patch. So thank you, Dr. Rose. And you have an amazing night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Y'all, thank y'all. Make sure you come visit us next week as well as I come with another guest. So we thank you. This is Fervently Creation Marketplace Ministry. If you want to be be a guest on the show, make sure you go to my website, www.ferventlycreations.com, which you can see right up under my name. All right. Y'all have a great one.
Bye for now.